I'm James Helder. Welcome to Full Court Football 24. I'm in the home today of someone whose jobs have included butcher, head scout for England, and manager for the Chinese national team. None other than Ted Buxton. How are you, Ted?
All right, James. Good. Very well, thank you.
Good. Got to say, it's great to meet you. Thank you for having me in your house today.
That's all right.
I want to look back on your career journey. It's very interesting life as well as being involved in football. Where was you born, mate?
Born in Deptford, New Cross, yeah. Right near Surrey Docks, really. And of course, went all through the war, you know. Yeah. I was born in 1934, so I went all through the war and remembered all that and the bombs and everything else going. Yeah. And got through all that, I suppose, and got lucky. But I started as a butcher. My brother-in-law got me in at Leadenhall Market, and that's how it all started, really. I started playing for the district and got picked up by Millwall.
So you're playing for the local district team, you're working as a butcher.
Yeah.
Millwall come in, they're like, we think you could be potentially a player.
Yeah, I used to, but at first I just went down there for 2 or 3 days a week when they was busy doing players' boots and painting all the stands, and you had to do all that yourself, all them, you know.
Really, yeah.
Apprentices can't do that now, they're not allowed to, you know.
Yes, I've heard of apprentices cleaning boots, but never been made to paint stands before. That's
they wouldn't allow it now. I don't think they're allowed to clean boots anymore.
Interesting. What do you remember about them early days playing football? Because am I right in thinking your football career was put on hold because you got drafted into the war?
I was coming up 16, 17, and Millwall was saying about giving me a contract, you know, and then I got called up a letter to say that I had to go for national service, you know, for medical. Millwall sort of waned a little bit then and said, "I'll see how you get on when you get back." Anyway, I went out in my medical, and the guy looks at me and he said, "Oh, you'll go to Aldershot." He said, "Go in the catering corps. You've been a butcher, you can go down there."
Because of the butcher background, you obviously know about poultry and meats and stuff.
That's right. So, and he said, and then you play a bit of football. So he said, they like a bit of football down there. So that's how it happened. So I went home and told them I'm going in the catering corps.
That don't sound too bad. It sounds all right.
And I thought that was great. Anyway, 2 months later, I played in a reserve game at Millwall, and this is what it was like, James, at the time. On the programme, you was A.N. Other, no name, and then they called your name out when you got there on the pitch, you know what I mean? It was one of the... yeah, that's how it was in them days. But
brilliant.
I got this letter about 2 months later after I'd been playing at Millwall, and to report to the 1st Battalion of Royal West Kent Regiment. And I said to my brother-in-law at the time, I said, that's wrong, I said, they're going to transfer me to catering course. And he said, no, they're not. That's a fighting mob. And of course the career was on, and the Mal, everybody, there was fights all over the place in the world. And I got down there, and I had that done, my training with them, and I was on the next boat out to Malaya.
Malaya? So you've gone from literally training and playing at Millwall and doing some sort of groundwork.
That's right.
Doing your butchering job, thinking, I've got to do this. Yeah. Now you're on the plane all kitted up to Malaya.
No, yeah, on a boat. We was on a boat. On a boat. Took us 3 weeks to get there on a boat, you know what I mean?
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, I struggled to sit in a car for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Imagine 3 weeks on a boat.
And of course you get, we landed there and landed in Singapore, actually. And then we had to go across the causeway into Malaya. And of course we had escorts, you had escorts, and all the old escorts were all sweats, give you all the old crap about, we got to go for Johor, which is over the causeway, and you get your heads down there because that's where they could have a go at you. So it's giving it all that. And and I say 14 months in Malaya, so see a bit of action, and I got a bit of a flesh wound. I thought, I didn't realise at the time, cool, it's like a red hot poker going through you. And when I got the medic our medic, was a baker in Civvy Street. Had about 6 weeks training.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So he's stitching up your flesh wound.
Eh?
He's stitching up your flesh wound.
No, he just put some gentle violet on, some blue stuff on. He said, "Oh, it's a bit. It looks like a flesh wound. That's all right. You'll get over that."
Different breed back then.
Yeah.
Different way of thinking.
Well, about 2 weeks later, I was taking out patrols. All over. They didn't sort of no talk about sending you home or anything like that.
After your 14 months is done in Malawi, how did you then come back and get involved in the football again?
Well, you had to go back to your job. When you left for the army, they had to take you back.
So all your jobs would have been left open for you guys. Yeah.
So I
That's
went
incredible.
back, and then I went back down to Millwall for 2 or 3 days a week to do that. Nothing come of that. I knew I wasn't going to make it as a top player, so I took my coaching badges. I say in them days, now it takes about 4 or 5 years to do it, but now it was just a prelim and then a full badge, and that you passed it, And then I went. Gordon Jago was the manager at Millwall at that time, and he asked me if I'd go and help him there with the kids. So I did. But then after about 2 or 3 weeks, he asked me if I'd work with the first team, and that's what I did. And it all kicked off from there because he got the job in Tampa Bay. He got a 3-year contract, and he asked me to go with him, and I went with him.
So you've literally gone from one extreme to another, being at war, coming back, getting your position, furthering yourself with your coaching,
yes,
and then getting the dream opportunity to go to Tampa Bay, Florida.
That was a
incredible.
That was a wonderful experience. They were brilliant out there, because I was tempted to stay there. Really,
is this a time before sort of the league had kicked off massive? Then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what was it like them early days in the American?
We
MLS?
had a good time. I mean, I took a couple of Barry Kitchener, who's the captain of Millwall. I took him over there, and 2 or 3 young players, and we done all right, And everybody was quite impressed, and so I had 3 great years there.
Did you know the league would be as successful out there as it has been?
Yeah.
With the money available and the players
Absolutely.
at the time and the plans.
I'm surprised it took so long to kick off there, because I thought when they'd done the World Cup in '96, wasn't it? Where is it? Yeah. Anyway, they done the World Cup and they done it very well. I thought it'd kick off then, but it didn't. But now it's getting bigger, and of course we even got an American players over here now, haven't we?
How long was you in Tampa for then?
3 years.
3 years. Explain to me your lifestyle. You're obviously...
Well,
you've grown up in inner city London. You're now in Tampa.
I travelled all over Asia and looking for players, because they kept getting calls and go and see this player, blah, blah, blah. I used to fly out there, all the first-class hotels, and everything was laid on, the airports and everything else. It was wonderful,
What do you look for when you go to look at a player? Say you were going to scout.
People ask me that, James, but it's a gut feeling when I see them. Maybe it's because I look at a player and I think, I couldn't do that myself.
Yeah.
And he's not bad, him. Blah, blah. And I'd watch him, and if I had to go back and watch him again, which was very rare, because I made up my mind right then.
Your gut told you there and then.
He's good enough, yeah.
Interesting.
And I'll do that now.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, I've done a lot of work for clubs here since I retired. I mean, I'm getting too old to run around anymore. But so I'm 85 now. 86 in May. So I can't get around anymore. Really,
That's incredible.
So, but even now, the last bit I've done a bit for Fulham. And I recommended a few players to them, and they had the same sort of scenario at Fulham, having a computer boy looking at the
stats, the output.
Stats.
Yeah.
And he's not good enough. I said, well, he's not good enough. I'm telling you, he's good enough. Anyway, when I left there, 3 players that I recommended, they've all signed them now. They're there.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
See, so much for your newfangled computer system.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Talk to me about what happened after Tampa, after Florida.
I come to Gillingham. I had 3 years at Gillingham.
So you've gone straight from Tampa, Florida, Tampa Bay to Gillingham.
Gillingham.
That's a change of lifestyle on it, half, isn't it?
Yeah, but that was brilliant down there, and I got on with everybody, and the players done well because there was Stevie Bruce was a centre half, Gasgoine, we had them all there, you know.
Did you scout them players yourself, Steve Bruce and Gasgoine? Would they have been
Steve come there from Burnley.
Okay.
They said he couldn't run, but when I saw him come in, and I said, "Quite, he's a centre half. He can head the ball, he can kick. That's it." And he was the best uncapped centre half. And when me and Terry got the England job, we was playing Japan in a pre-seed fight friendly. Both our centre backs, Tony Adams had a bit of a problem, and we needed a centre half. So Terry said, "What should we do?" I said, "Well, Stevie Bruce," I said, "he's in his 30s now, but he can still play." He was playing for Birmingham then. He said, "Phone him up, see if he wants to come." I said, "Okay." So I phoned him up, "Steve, fancy playing against Japan, Steve?" He said, "I've got a groin injury." I said, "You're never injured. What's the matter with you?" He said, "No, I can't. I won't be able to do it, Ted." And that was it. Other than that, he would have got a cap. He would have got his only cap, you know.
And a lot of people feel he was good enough, especially to be challenging for a few caps at that time, for him not to
absolutely,
for him not to take that one moment and that one chance.
And he was injured.
There's
Because
irony
when
for you.
he was brave as a lion, him, Steve. We played, it was Newport County in a game, and a boy called Tommy Tynan, I think his name was, went over the top at Steve and broke his shin bone. He went out to him, and the physio looked at. He said, he said no. So he got hold of the physio, but he wanted to play on.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just gritted his teeth and wanted to get on with it.
That's right. And he finished up about a month later, putting on a plaster cast as a pad. Yeah.
Talk to me about Tony Gascoigne. I know you brought him to Gillingham. He was one of your one of your finds, if you like.
Somebody come in actually and said, I said, "Where do you go weekend?" And he said, "The Crocking Hill." He said, "At the big centre forward there, about 6 foot odd." He said, "He caused us a load of problems." So I said, "What was his name?" He said, "Gascoigne." So I thought, Anyway, I found out that they was playing, he was representing the league against the FA or something. So I went down and saw him. And there was a load of players, Chelsea was there, I know, Millwall, a lot of clubs there watching him. And about 20 minutes from the end, they all left.
The scouts do this quite a lot. They see what they see, they make their mind up, and then they're off.
Gone. But he hadn't done too well up to then. He hadn't done a lot, I should say. And then I sat there with the secretary at Crocking Hill, and the last 15 minutes he scored 2 great goals. And I thought, Christ, he ain't bad, him. So I said to him, the secretary, let him come up to Gillingham for a week.
Well, so you can have a better look at him. Was this your system? You do this a lot with players rather than watching?
I'd always do
Get
that.
them in, work their personality
I'd done it
out.
at Tottenham with Terry, and he always agreed with that, Terry. And anyway, brought him in and played him against Stevie Bruce and our 2 regular centre-halves in the thing. Yeah. Anyway, Brucey said to me afterwards, he said, "Where the fucking hell did you get him from?" So I said, "Crocking Hill." He said, "I wouldn't fancy playing against him every week." And that done it then for me. That's it.
When a player of that calibre and that class tells you he's good and he's giving him hard times.
He's giving him a bad time.
That's enough. That's enough of an opinion for yourself.
He wasn't fighting for no one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What happened next then in the career journey after Gillingham?
Gillingham, Tottenham come in for me.
Really?
I got a call on my answer phone at home, and it was the chairman of Gillingham, and he said, "Are you going to the sports writers' dinner tomorrow?" I answered him back and said, "Yes, I'll be there." Anyway, I got there, and I thought they must be after Gasgoine. So him and Peter Shreve showed up, the manager then, Peter
Of
Shreve,
Tottenham.
at Tottenham.
Yeah.
And I never said nothing until half time. And then the chairman called me over and he said, "You fancy coming to Tottenham?" I said, "What as? Take over from Bill Nicholson?" I said, "You mad?"
What, like Chief Scout?
Yeah. I don't know what he meant, really. That's all he said to me, James. Take over from Bill Nicholson. I said, I did say, I said, "You effing mad?" I said, "The man's a legend." He said, "We think you can do a job." Okay, anyway, I had to sort it out with Gillingham. Gillingham wanted compensation, something like that. But it all come out, and that was it, really. So I went, and I had 8 years there. And then, because I had Peter Shreve's got the sack, and I said to him, "Peter, you brought me here. If you want me to resign with you, I'll do that." No, he said, "No, the chairman won't have that." So, and then David Pleat come in.
What was David Pleat like?
Yeah, we're great mates now. Didn't get on too well at first because I really thought in his mind he wanted to bring his own men in from Luton, I think it was.
Yeah. The managers often have their own teams,
That's
their own
right.
ideas.
So we had a little bit of an argument over a couple of things, and then because he got into a personal trouble himself, off the away from the club.
Yeah.
And the chairman rang me one day and said, could you go and help David Pleat? He's left his car here and blah. I went and done it and looked up. And from then I took him everywhere. And we bonded a bit then.
So after that, he took more of a shine to you, more of a liking to you?
Oh, yeah. And now he rings me a couple of times a week, see how I am and how he is. Yeah. And of course, then he got the sack for doing practically the same thing that he had problems with before. Yeah. I really thought he'd been set up somewhere.
Really?
I did, yeah. I think somebody set him up. Whether it was the newspapers or not, I don't know. But anyway, he went, and of course, then Terry come in.
Was that the first time you'd met Terry Venables?
No, I'd been out to Barcelona and watched him train with Alan Harris then.
Okay.
So I did know him.
Yeah.
And
so your stock in the game at this point must be pretty high, because
I think people knew me a bit, and but I and when he come in, Irving Scholar, the chairman, he said, "I'm getting Terry Venables in." He said he's going to ring you. I said, "Okay," and I thought then, "Oh, hello, perhaps he'll want to bring somebody in,
He's got his Barcelona scouts coming in.
So so I met him and took him to the training ground, and we hit it off right away, really.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how that one moment of you getting on instantly with Terry Venables has then set you in good stead to further your own career for years and years to come.
It did, because everybody associated me with Venables, and he was brilliant. And to be fair, he gave me a lot of hope to do things,
In what way? In what sort of what facility?
Well, if I said to him, "Hey, listen, we should say, Gaza." When one incident, but there's a few others. But I said, "What about?" He said, "He's a bit of a character, isn't he?" So I said, "Yeah." He said, phone Jack Charlton and Bobby Robson, who's worked with. I've done that, and they've all said the same. So he said, "What do you think?" I said, "I'd sign him, me." He said, "Okay, we'll do it." And they've done it, And to be fair, James, I don't care who. All the people you see in the England squads, they love playing with Gaza. he could turn a game. I mean, he could get the game by the scruff of the neck and change it. And that's how he went until he got that injury in the cup final, and it was he should have been booked on his first tackle, and he would have calmed down, but he didn't, and he done it. And because then he went off to Italy, and he wasn't the same after that. But you talk to anybody now, and I see this programme on here, 100 great footballers on the telly. He's got to be in that, because he's as good as Ronaldo and Messi. When he was on, top notch, Gazza, and every one of them, not one of them players in the England squads would have anything. They'd have him in the side any day, any of the week. Yeah, he was world class for me, and he still is. He was, but I'm surprised. Unfortunately, with Gazza, I think he had a lot of hangers-on around him. And he loved a mate, and I think they took advantage of Gazza. But what a player. You speak to Teddy Sheringham or Shearer about Gazza, yeah.
Everybody seems to have their own Gazza moment or their own Gazza story. Is there anything from your personal experiences with Paul Gascoigne that sticks to your mind, or anything you can share with
Gazza?
us? Yeah.
Well, the dentist chair one, yeah. I mean, it's world wide, isn't it?
Was you there when that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was somebody's birthday, and they come to me and said, "We're going to have a night out. Can you ask the boss, Terry, if it's all?" I said, "I'll try." So anyway, I said to.
So you was like the buffer in between the players and the gaffer, like?
The players always should have come to me to get to him.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
And I went into him and I asked him, and he said, "Well, I'll tell you what, they can do it." He said, "Do you want to go?" I said, "No, I don't want to go." So he said, "Make Brian Robson go with them and tell him to handle it."
Because he's similar, not far ages from the players, I'm guessing.
That's
so
right.
they all respect him still.
That's right.
He's got that playing sort of respect.
So he said, "All right." And of course, they went off and they got a bit pissed, didn't they? And they got that dentist chair thing, and of course, all the papers got hold of it, and Terry was brilliant. He got them all together, and he said, "Okay, we stick together." And of course, on the plane, when is it? The plane. There's a guy in a plane coming home who was a bit pissed, and we found out afterwards that he was an airline pilot coming back to England to take a plane out.
Really?
And so Terry, he said, "Listen, we'll take the blame on because they said Gazza had broken a television up on the top floor in the plane.
Yeah.
We'll all take the blame. We'll do it. Blah blah. We'll pay. Don't mention him because he'll lose his job.
That's brilliant.
And so that's how he was. And things like that. His man management, Terry, was brilliant. None better than being able to, get their things over to the players. And so, everything was nice and easy. But I say they always come to me. I was the buffer who had to sort things out with them. But I think they appreciated that. And, there's one time, Terry, we're going to Cheltenham racing. I think the chairman had given some money or give him some money to take the players to Cheltenham for the day. Yeah. He said, I'm not a bit of a horsey, betting man. So he said, "Do you want to go?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Make sure." And because we had Ray Clements and all the top boys here, our dealers and all this mob. So I got on the bus with them to go to Cheltenham. And I stood there and I just stared at them all down. And I said, "If any of you give me a fucking problem on this trip, you'll be in trouble." Now, I'm telling you, a lot of you. So Ray Clement. He said, any chance of getting a crate of beer on it? I said, yeah. I said, that's fine. So we drew up off licence, got some beer on, and it was fine. And went down to Cheltenham and had a great day. I never had a spot of problem, no.
I think that's because you put them in their place early, told them what
early,
the rules was.
I think that's what you've got to do.
Give
You've got to let them know who's the governor, really.
Yeah. Can't imagine, like, the chief scout handing out the beers nowadays, can you? It's just a different...
No.
Different world, isn't it?
It is. But to be fair, Joe, I could have a fight anyway.
Yeah.
So I think they knew that,
Yeah.
I mean, I've dragged a few players out at training sometimes and
Really?
had to go.
They've given you a bit of lip or something?
Well, they've done something, and I've pinned them up against a wall or something, and everybody, hang on,
Any incidents that sort of spring to mind?
Yeah, I had the same trouble with Rodney Marsh at Tampa Bay.
Really?
I took him training one morning. Gordon Jago said, you take him. So I took him out. And I was doing a little warm-up. And right at the back there was Rodney. And he had a little clique of players with him, So they were doing everything opposite that I wanted.
So they're playing you up, basically?
So, yeah, he tried me out, wasn't he? Yeah. Didn't really know me. So I stopped it. I said, Rod, you got a problem with me? And he always put his hands up like that. No. Well, I think you have. I said, I'm telling you now, me and you are going over there, behind that tree, and we'll sort it out. Me and you, just me and you, all right? No problem. No, after that, never had a problem.
Really?
Oh, no. No. And that's how I used to go, really, from the off,
How would you and Rodney Marsh got on after that incident?
Yeah, fine.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Talk to me about Terry Venables getting the phone call about becoming England manager and how the rest of you guys, I'm guessing his staff, how would you have found out about that and what was going on?
Well, a newspaper fella had phoned me and said about it, and I didn't know really what was going on. And then Terry called me in and he said, listen, I've got a chance of getting the England job. Oh, I said, brilliant, fucking great. So the only thing he said, I've got to go to Tel Aviv to look at a few players for a fellow who had money at Blackburn. He wanted St. Petersburg. I think it was something like that over there. Yeah. Something like, I don't know who it was, I forget now. But anyway, he said, there's a few bob for you if you want to go. And I said, well, he said, I can't really, because he was going on the interview for the England job. So I said, I'll do it. He said, you're in a 4-star hotel and you'll be picked up and everything else. But anyway, I flew into Tel Aviv. A bloke picked me up and off we drove. Drove into a kibbutz.
What's a kibbutz?
They all, it's a Jewish thing where everybody works on the land and they grow their own stuff and the thing. And I said, hey, what's this?
Well, like an Amish
yeah,
sort of thing,
that type of thing. So I said, what's this? He said, oh, this is where you're staying. I said, no, I'm supposed to have a 5-star hotel. Oh, no, he said, they've changed that. Because Terry hadn't gone.
Brilliant.
They changed it. But to be fair, that was brilliant. They looked after me. And
really, yeah.
they took me to see where Jesus was crucified and where he was born. And they took me all around, so I see all that. It's brilliant. And I watched the players for St. Petersburg, told the guy what I thought. And I think he bought into it somewhere, I don't know. But after that, yeah.
He signed some players then, yeah?
Hey?
He signed some of the players?
I think so. I think he bought into the club, some people. But whatever happened, that was it.
Talk to me about your involvement in the England team, that initial initial joining this setup, if you like, and that initial period?
Yeah, Terry had got the job, and he said it's going to take a week or two to sort things out. All right. I never heard nothing. I thought, I'm not getting this, you know.
Really? So you're starting to doubt yourself a little bit?
I'm doubting now. So anyway, after a week or two, Terry rang. He said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah. How's you?" He said, "All right." He said, "You report at the FA on Monday, 8 o'clock. You started Monday." He didn't say, why or what. That was it.
You're in. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Brilliant.
The funny thing, he took me and Dave Sexton. Do you remember Dave Sexton? Yeah. Brilliant man. He took me in, and Dave was going to do the under-21s.
Was Don Howe involved as well?
Hey?
Don Howe, would he be involved in that as well?
Who?
Don Howe.
Oh, Don, yeah. But he was, of course, yeah. God bless him, he's dead now, isn't he? Anyway, I got to the FA, and an FA bloke had got hold of Terry, and he said, "You taking on Ted Buxton and Dave Sexton?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "They're a bit old, aren't they?"
Really?
And Terry said, "I want them to be on my staff. I don't want them to fucking play." That's what he said to him.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's doing the scouting. He ain't playing up front.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. So, and of course it went great for us here in England.
So am I right in thinking you would have compiled a dossier and a file on every available player in the country who had lineage to play for England?
Yeah, well, it all started with when I was at Tottenham, I got a call from Jack Charlton's number 2, midfield player. Anyway, hard boy. Anyway, he said, "Ted," he said, "you got a boy called Chris Kinnear, ain't you, under 18? I said, "Yeah, he's going to probably a first-year pro, yeah." So he said, "Would you tell him that we picked him against Spain for next month?" He said, "We'll send all the paperwork through to you." I said, "All right." So I called him in training. So I said, "Chris," he said, I said, "Congratulations." He said, "What for?" I said, "You're going to play for Era." He said, "Era? Who's that?" I said, "Ireland." He said, "Northern Ireland." He said, "Why?" I said, "Well, it must be, your parents must be Irish, are they?" "No." I said, "What about your grandparents?" "Don't know, don't think so." I said, "Well, you better find out." Anyway, he went off. Next day he come back, he said, "My mum and but they've gone right through that to 1880 with no Irishman in the thing." So I phoned back. Jack Charlton answered the phone. So I said, "Here," I said, "this boy Chris Kinnear." I said, "You sure he's?" "Yeah, well, he's Kinnear. He must be Irish."
So
I said, "Well, he's not."
He just assumed from his last name that he must be eligible to play.
So anyway, after that, me and Terry had a laugh because we pulled the boy in, and Terry was with me at the time, and he said, "Sorry about that, Chris." He said, "But hey, you're going. You'll play for England one day or something." So as he went out the door, I said to him, and this was typical me, I said to him, "Chris, are you sure that your grandmother never had it offered an Irish milkman or something like that?" And he went, "No." And of course, Terry said to me, "Behave yourself," talk to him like that. Anyway, that was it. So after that, Terry said to me, "Listen, we can't have that. We've got to." So every player that we looked at, we found their background, their parents, all their, everything about them. So we had it down.
In that squad that Terry Venables gave a lot of players debuts and brought a lot of players into the England squad, out of them guys, what players would have been the players that you championed, that you personally were pushing to get into that England team?
Well, later on, it was Frankie Lampard. I went down and watched him, and there was a lot of talk about Frank, and because Harry was the manager, Harry Redknapp, and his brother-in-law.
Was Frankie at West Ham at this point?
Yes, yeah, and of course Frank Lampard Senior was his number 2. And I went down there every time I could get down there, and I always had a drink with them in the boot room, as they called it, down there. And I said to Frank one day, listen, you can tell me my own business if you like, but I think you're Frank. You're playing him wrong. I think he should be playing forward. He should go further forward.
Really?
Because he can score goals.
Was he sitting a lot deeper then?
Hey?
He's sitting a lot deeper. Yeah.
And because he was a bit weighty then, Frank. And because the crowd were having a go at him. Yeah. Because of his dad being there and everything else.
So people thought he was getting an easier ride because
Absolutely.
his dad was involved with the club.
Anyway,
interesting.
He phoned me up, Frank, and he said, we're going to try Frank. And because he played him off the front man. And because he started scoring the goals. And because then we brought him into England, And he was brilliant. I thought, he's different class, Frank Lampard. We're still mates now, and we still speak now and again. So that's nice,
It's interesting. Now, if someone hadn't spotted playing him that little bit higher, his career could have been maybe different.
It was a gut feeling, James, as I thought he's got it all wrong because he was going to make a run, then he'd stop, and it used to shift defenders about once he'd done that, and because he scored a lot of goals, wasn't he? A hell of a lot of goals for West Ham, and because when he went to Chelsea, wasn't it? A lot of money. And
a lot of people were questioning the transfer at the time as well when
absolutely.
Ranieri brought him in.
Yeah,
such a big money for the player from West Ham.
He was one of the best attacking midfield players I'd had, I think.
I think it was 11 million. What a bargain that looks at now when you're looking at it now.
Cool, not much.
Incredible.
And to be fair, in the book, he has stated that he appreciated me talking to his dad.
Do you feel that because his dad was a professional player and his uncle was a professional player, he handled himself impeccably, and his attitude and the way he trained and the way he approached football?
Yeah. He was one of the best, and because he was a good trainer as well. Yeah. And because we brought him in to the England squad, and there's another idea of Terry. He used to bring the young players in to play as the opposition. So he was playing Czechoslovakia.
Really?
And he'd get my report and he'd put him, and he'd line up the kids as the Czechs would do. And we'd play against them, and it give them the opportunity to play against the top boys as well, And I think that paid off as well in the end because we got some good players there,
Let's focus a little bit on Euro 96.
Yeah.
Such a buzz for the country. To have the Euros here is a very special thing.
Yeah.
On top of that, when you look at that side that we had, Terry Venables and yourself and the team and Don Howard put together, such an incredible squad.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about that process, about selecting that team and the reasons for the choices of those players?
Well, Terry always had the idea of what team he was going to play. And he never really budged from that. And we didn't start off too well, if you remember.
Drew the first game.
That's right.
Drew the first game, 1-0.
Everybody was given a bit of stick and that. And
Alan Shearer scored early, didn't he?
Hey?
Alan Shearer scored early,
That's
I
right.
remember it.
But then when we played Holland, wasn't it? We beat them 4-1.
Yeah.
That was the start of it, I think. Because we was at Bisham Abbey, in a hotel in Bisham Abbey. And after that, there was hundreds, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of supporters outside lining up just to see us in the hotel. And when we come out of the hotel to go to training ground, they'd be on their knees praying. It was like the end of the war.
Incredible. And
that's how it was. And everybody, I think, started to get England together again then, didn't it?
Mm. Some big characters in that squad. Alan Shearer, for one, for instance.
Sheringham.
Paul Gascoigne.
Absolutely.
Some incredible players. Incredible players.
Yeah.
I remember the media being on Venables' case a little bit for playing Alan Shearer at the start of that tournament.
That's right.
What was it like and the mood like in the squad? And how did Venables counteract that? If you like?
I'll say his man management was brilliant. He'd call Alan in, and I know for a fact that he'd say to him, "You're my number one. You're going to play." No matter what the media said, that, and they used to tell that, but he wouldn't say that in front of all the squad. He'd bring that in himself, and I think that's when it got into the players' head, that they was good enough. And of course, Sheringham and Shearer together, fucking terrific, weren't they?
Oh, amazing. Absolute amazing strike force.
Yeah, brilliant.
Once you started getting wins, and obviously beating Scotland as well,
yes,
the buzz and the euphoria in the country.
Well, what a goal he got that day, Gazza.
Oh, mate.
Eh?
What he did to Colin Henry, do you remember?
Yeah, he's never got over it, Colin Henry, has he?
One of the best goals I've probably seen someone score in an England shirt.
Yeah.
For the occasion as well, and the moment and the euphoria.
That was what I'm saying, is that Gazza could get the game by the scruff of the neck and do things that nobody else could do.
Yeah.
And that's what he did on that particular moment. When he whipped it over Colin, said, didn't he? Run, bang, got it.
You got to think Colin Henry at the time was
an
immense defender as well.
Yeah, that's when all the photos come out, when he's laying there and they're all squirting
the juice at him.
Yeah, see, they took that one of me and Bobby Fowler, because we were doing the same.
It's the same one on the wall.
And the same way, yeah.
Quality. What did Terry Venables say to the squad, for instance, after that Scotland win? What can you remember? What was said to the boys?
I don't know. There's such a buzz here, James, that day, and he never said too much. He said, "Well done, lads. We're on our way."
He kept things quite minimal then.
He did.
Yeah.
And you never heard it, even when we were didn't play so well sometimes. You never heard him shouting balls, have he? He'd just go round calm and collective and say to him, "Listen, we'll do better. You've done well there, but you've got to do this and that." And he'd talk to him, no. And it was a different class. He was different. If we'd got over the German game, when Gazza missed by that much and
just missed to tap it in, didn't he?
And then McManaman, he just clipped the post.
Yeah.
We would have bet.
Player McManaman was.
We would have beat the Czechs in the final, no doubt about that. Everybody knew that. Even the Czechs thought that.
After you beat Spain, which was a huge result at the time, I remember everyone thinking, "This is going to be wire down the end stuff."
Yeah.
England got through. Did you guys believe in yourselves that you were going to win that European
absolutely,
Championship?
yeah. There's so much confidence in the side, and you could see the buzz when they're in training, and they're up on their toes and everything else. They was absolutely brilliant, really, and there was no negative play or anybody said thing out of order. The other players will have a go at him over something.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there any incidents that stick out or stand out in your mind?
Yeah.
Anything you could tell us?
There's one particular time when, I forget who it was, McManaman or something, he should have played a ball through for Shearer. And he didn't. He shot, and Shearer was in a position where he could have scored, absolutely. And it wasn't Shearer who had a go, somebody else did. A player said to him, "You should have done that and that." And Shearer said, "Hey, it's gone and finished." Yeah. He didn't do it. Leave it alone. And that's how it was. That was a camaraderie with the players,
Let's look at that semi-final against Germany. Chance to, as you said, to play Czech Republic in the final of the Euros on our own nation. It doesn't come about often. It's a very special thing and a very special thing to be involved with.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the day? About the match and about the...
What, Germany?
Yeah, about the Germany game.
We always thought that if it goes to penalties, we always felt David Seaman, would save one.
Had you guys specifically practiced penalties for this as well?
Oh, they know that. Yeah, we all were penalty takers.
Yeah.
And the only thing that for me on the day, Brian Robson sitting there. Tony Adams had a bit of a problem with his knee, and it was coming up to extra time and could be. And I said to Brian, I tell you what, we need a penalty taker coming on. I said, I'd take the big fellow off, Tony Adams, and bring on, come on, Tottenham then.
Darren Anderton.
Eh?
Darren Anderton.
No, penalty taker. Oh, dear, I'm getting old, I think. Anyway, I said I'll put him on, bring him on, in case we get penalties. So I didn't say anything else. And then when it come to the penalties, I should have said to Terry, I think we should take Tony Adams off and bring on, I can't remember his face, Jerry. Anyway, Robbie Fowler was one, a penalty taker. One of them two. So, and I never mentioned it anymore, and it never happened. But I wish I'd have said then, I think we should have a penalty taker on. Because Southgate come on, and him or the other boy would have took the sixth penalty, the penalty that Southgate missed. And I think I was sorry I didn't say anything at the time.
Do you think about that genuinely now and again? That moment that you didn't say anything.
Yes.
Do you think about that? Something that haunts you.
I've told Brian Robson since. He said, "Oh, you should have said." I said, "I know," but I didn't. And I thought I'm not going to disturb Terry and give him all that. At the time.
I get it.
And but unfortunately, Southgate, But he said afterwards, he said his wife told him off. He should have blasted it, didn't he? Or something.
All 5 penalty takers scored for England.
They did.
Practicing the penalties had worked. Gareth Southgate, brave enough to step up to take that 6th penalty.
There was a few who said, turned their head, didn't want to know.
That's right. And he was man enough to step up and have a go.
Yeah, that's right.
What was his initial reaction?
Oh, devastated.
When the penalty did not go in. So I'm not talking about what we saw on telly, but what we saw.
Well, you see, Terry and everybody went over to him and got him to listen. Don't worry about it. It's gone. It's finished, and everything else. Don Howe, and Terry. We all went over to him anyway. So and tried to encourage him to get back. He devastated. I mean, it really slaughtered him. That.
He's someone that seemed to give everything for the team.
All the players stood by him as well. Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah. He seems to be someone, like I said, who gives everything for the team, leaves everything on the pitch. Yeah. Something like that to happen to a player like him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing he would have burdened himself with a lot of responsibility and blame.
Yeah. But he's done well, Gareth, and mind you, when he was a player, he was always asking questions about the coaching and what did you think about that one, this one, or, he was always asking questions. So, back in my mind, I knew that one day he'd want to manage somewhere.
Did you think he would turn out to be England manager?
No, at the time, no. I thought he'd be he was a club manager before that, wasn't he? But,
he's with Middlesbrough as well.
I didn't think that he'd finish up England manager, no. But he's done well.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, all them players he's brought through, and he's everybody says there are too many of them, but you can't knock him on his results. That's a cert. And his tactical awareness is good.
Was there a big drinking culture in England and around that Euro '96 squad?
Not really. All liked a beer. And again, it was Terry. He used to say they can stay at the bar, but they're out of that bar at 10:30.
So they would be having beers and stuff, but it would be sort of fitting in with what they normally did in the era, how the general sort of thing was to do at that time.
Yeah. So he'd go off, Terry. He'd leave me with him, and at 10:30, I'd say, "Right, lads, that's it. Off you go to bed." And I never had an argument. Yeah. They supped up and went. Yeah. But with Terry, I tell you, he put all the. If we had 4 floors, all the players, I'd have 1 floor looking after players. Don Howard have one.
That's brilliant.
Have one looking after the players on that floor. Dave Butler, the physio, had one, and that's how it was.
Who was the most lenient out of all you guys on the floor? So you'd be open. Whose floor would you be open? You was on.
Me.
Yeah, not you, but the players.
Oh, I don't know. I know. I always had Gazza. That Gazza was always in my one. I think.
Really?
Oh yeah. That's who looks after him, because at one particular time, James, he could never settle. If we had a game next day, you know.
What, he's just wide awake?
He phoned me up 2:00 one morning. Teddy said, "I can't sleep." I said, "Gazza, you've got to get to sleep." He said, "Come down and have a game of snooker." I said, "You sure? It's 2:00 in the morning." He said, "No, I'll be all right after that." I said, "No, you don't. You get to sleep now." And that's how he was. He couldn't. He couldn't settle. Yeah. But he still played next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd never known by his performance that he'd been up all night, or
no,
he hadn't slept as well as the others.
And the other time is when he wanted a couple of his mates to come down. And he said to me, "Oh, can you ask the boss if I can get my mates down?" So I said, "Hang on." I went in to Terry. I said, "Listen," told him, "Gaz, I want the mate." He said, "Tell him he can come down, but he puts them in a hotel. They're not coming here in this hotel. Yeah. They can stop at a hotel somewhere." So he said, "What's he want them down for?" "Oh, he's got a special pair of boots there that they're going to bring down for him." He said, "Well, he's got boots here." I said, "I know he has." But he said, "It's an excuse, isn't it?" So he said, "All right, tell him that." So I went to him. So I said to him, "You can have them." I said, "But I'm down, but you pay for everything. We don't want him here in the hotel." And but he was happy with that. And he didn't have no boots to come down.
No.
He just wanted mates around him.
Just wanted his buddies around him for a few days. Brilliant.